Hello guys, so on Monday they updated the way my favorite boss works, Rise of the Six, Barrows Rise of the Six, aka RoTS, aka Barrows Deluxe, and in my opinion they made it a lot more enjoyable as a person that does RoTS a lot. However, I also think they made it a little too difficult for people who would be starting out RoTS, because now you take more damage but it's also less trolly, if that makes sense, as in you can't just you can't fail kills just because of randomness. It has to be because of your own fault. But anyway, here are the updates they made. Let me just go through them one by one, explain what's changed, and then I will talk about some updated tactics that I have figured out would be the best ones to use, in my opinion, over the past 3 days that I've been RoTS since the update, trying to figure out the best tactics and so on. So according to them, they said this, I quote, "The following fixes have been made to the Rise of the Six boss battle to make it fairer and more fun," unquote. The first one is that players are no longer attributed kills or counted for rewards if they stand between the two entry barriers and do not participate in the fight. Now, in my clan there are a few people that do leeches, that host leeches, RoTS leeches, for people, I guess they want the comp cape or whatever, and I take part in that once in a while. And recently there was a guy who was a leech, and we figured out somehow, well, as you can see in the video I guess, that he can't come into the fight. Number one, he can't come into the fight once we start it if he's between the two barriers, and number two, it won't count. And for that reason, leeches now had to do a bit more to actually get their kill, and that is by coming inside, making sure they stay alive and so on. That's a pretty minor one. I guess it doesn't really affect most people. Number two, Carol will no longer start his bombing run while still on his platform at the top, and will no longer run back to his original position if attacked by a familiar. This involves quite a few things. Number one, you don't get running bombs, which you did before sometimes. Basically Carol was running from one point to another while bombing. Number two, you don't get glitches where he's just stone dead. He's just standing there, you attack him, you don't see his HP bar, nothing happens. You won't get that either. And also maybe something else, I don't know, I guess if you took the first bomb when he started bombing to the other side, sometimes he would fail, and that would happen where you can't attack him as well. So that won't happen, well, I haven't seen it happen, so I trust Jagex on that part. And number three, the lightning attack. Now, for a long time I've been thinking that Ahrix does the lightning attack. You know, the lightning that goes from one end of the room to another, slowly. I figured out it's actually Carol that does it, and they call this the bombardment attack. The range of Carol's bombardment attack has been increased. Now I thought this was the bombs. I thought the range of the bombs was increased, but actually that wasn't true. The range of this lightning attack's been increased so that it runs from one end of the one width of the room to the other end, even though the lightning animation itself doesn't take up so much space. So as long as you're within the width of the room while the lightning's passing by you, you will get hit. And it's Carol that does the lightning, not Ahrix, because it always only happens when Carol is on the top, not Ahrix. When Ahrix's on the top, something different happens. I think he opens up the puffs of cloud underground to either heal his brothers or to damage us, depending on whether it's purple or pink, I believe. Anyway, so that's that. And the next one is that the brothers can no longer enrage until Carol has finished his bombing run. Now, I believe that this basically means the brothers can no longer hop over, because when they hop over it says they get enraged, and I haven't seen them hop over while Carol's bombing, so I guess that's a good thing. I don't think I can remember seeing it before either. If I'm wrong in any of this, please correct me, but I'm pretty sure I'm right with most of these except this particular one to do with enraged brothers, I guess. Finally, well, not finally, the final one's pretty big. The penultimate update is that undead versions of the brothers will now be hidden underneath alive versions of the brothers if they are stacked. Now this basically means that, for example, if you kill a brother and you're attacking another brother and he's right on top of or underneath the brother, it used to be the case that the other brother would always be, the brother that he had to attack would be underneath the brother that was dead, so you couldn't actually click on him, and that was a issue basically, because well, if it was Ahrix or something, you basically couldn't attack him, so you had to move him out, which took a bit of time. And now it's good to see that that particular brother is now on the top rather than on the bottom, so this can never happen again. They're basically taking out all these random annoying little glitches that would fail kills for no reason. And finally they took out the biggest one of them all, that is a shadow realm. They completely changed the way it works now, and I think that it's for the better for experienced RoTS, but for first timers it's going to be hell. It really is. Anyway, the way it works now is that instead of having one person randomly disappear into the shadow realm in the middle of the kill, and they'd have to lure all the brothers over the puffs of, I guess, cloud or whatever you call it, what happens is that at the start of the kill, one of the brothers that is in the fight, one of the 6 brothers, will use rejuvenate. Well, not rejuvenate, he'll do the animation for it, and then he will say something. I think he says, "You dare disturb the shadow?" I think that's what he says. Anyway, randomly one of the brothers out of the 6 will say that. Now, if that brother is alive, there is a random chance throughout the whole kill that he will take everyone in the team into the shadow realm. If you kill him as soon as possible, then if he's dead, then this will not happen at all. So some teams employ this tactic. I'll explain the tactics later on, but basically if that brother is alive, the brother that says "you dare disturb the shadow," then there is a random chance that he will take everyone into the shadow realm if he is alive. Now in the shadow realm, it's the same as being in the non-shadow realm for all intents and purposes. Everything works exactly the same way, except all the damage that they do on you is doubled, apart from Carol's bombs, because if that was doubled, then that would be unbelievably deadly. So everything works exactly the same way, except that all the damage except Carol's bombs damage is doubled. Now this is very, very deadly because spins can really wreck you. Lightning, Carol's lightning has 2-hit me several times, and because it's got a massive range now, it's really, really important to stay away from it, and one way to make sure you avoid it is to surge towards it. Now this may sound crazy, but if you walk away from it, that is in the same direction as it's traveling across the room, then you will get hit by it, and if you get hit by it maybe 2 or 3 times, you're dead. So to avoid it, you probably need to surge in the opposite direction to which it's coming from. That will prevent it entirely. If you're in its path, then you are just screwed. So be really, really careful. It's Carol's lightning, by the way, not Ahrix, so when Carol goes on the top, this will happen. And yeah, that's probably the biggest downfall of it, along with maybe Darok's attacks when he's on low HP, because they're double damage now. So yeah, that is going to be really, really bad. But the upshot is that you can't be trolled by being shadow realmed and disappearing when that brother is almost dead and the timer's going to run out or whatever. You guys probably know what I'm talking about, but anyway, when Carol's bombing, both sides can attack him as long as he's not turned into a portal. So yeah, technically he could be dead in the wrong side, if that makes sense. And also you can not attack either Carol or Ahrix in the shadow realm when they've gone on top. I don't know if this is a glitch, but basically when they go on the top, you can't see them at all, so you can't attack them when they're in the shadow realm. Oh, and there is no way of leaving the shadow realm once you get into it, so you do have to kill the brother. If you don't want to go into the shadow realm, you do have to kill that one brother that says something at the start of the kill before he starts the shadow realm, and he can do it at any point during the kill. So yeah, you can't get up to shadow realm once it's finished. And one other thing that they forgot to mention, or maybe they didn't want to mention it, is that they seem to have halved the damage. You know, the bombs that appear if you don't get out of the tunnel within 30 seconds when the tunnel starts exploding, those ones only do half damage of what they used to do. So like they won't do more than 1.3k damage at a time, and for that reason I guess it's viable to do 3 bridges, possibly even 4 if you want to go for that, without actually risking death. So yeah. Talking of some of the tactics that you could employ to counteract this update, I guess the most obvious one to do would probably be to kill the Shadow Brother as soon as possible. That is the brother that says you dare disturb the Shadow at the start of the kill. So pile that brother and kill him as soon as possible, because that would prevent the Shadow Realm. If he's dead, it would prevent the Shadow Realm from occurring altogether. And I would probably recommend this if you are just starting out with an update, you haven't had much experience with the updated RoTS, or if you're starting out RoTS altogether, because the Shadow Realm can be very, very deadly. However, if you do this, you'll have to kill the other brothers fairly quickly, because you won't have much of a chance to get their LP down, because you'll be piling that one brother. So I would do this if you're fairly experienced but also new to the new updated RoTS. But once you get a few kills under your belt, it's much better to actually use the second tactic. But anyway, yeah, I talked to Mod Crystal and Mod Harrison. These guys I'll be seeing in 8 days time. Really excited for that. We'll be making a vid hopefully with Can. Also an update on Can will be in a different vid. I'll bring that out later if he isn't back by then. But anyway, yeah, I talked to Mod Crystal and Mod Harrison. They said it wasn't their intention to make it harder. As you can see, I guess it just had to resolve some known bugs. And yeah, that's good, I guess. And on to the second tactic. Now the second tactic is the one I've been using very successfully. This is to just continue as normal, do the kills as normal, just try and ignore the fact that the Shadow Realm is active. I guess if the Shadow Brother is Carol, then you will kill Carol anyway, because you always kill Carol first. And that will prevent the Shadow Realm. However, if it isn't not Carol, then it may be a little bit harder, because it's likely that the Shadow Realm will open up before you kill that brother. So yes, that is the only issue. But yeah, that's a tactic I've been using, as I said, and it's really good, because you know, you can just stick to your strengths and, you know, kill the brothers as you would normally. There is no trollage involved of when you're killing your last brother and he goes into the Shadow Realm and everyone resets. And you can also kill the brother, as I said, kill Carol on the other side, so everyone can attack Carol now, except when he's on the top. So when he's bombing, you can attack Carol from the other side, and there's a lot of DPS on Carol. You can kill Carol much faster even when he's bombing now, so that's a massive plus, I think. And yeah, that's made RoTS a lot easier. I also think, I'm not quite sure about this, but I also think you can Voke Toragov now when he's hammering someone to prevent him, to stop him from hammering them rather than having to damage him. But you can damage him as usual as well. But anyway, I'm not sure about that, but I've just Voked a lot of times and it seemed to have worked, so that's why I'm saying that. But yeah, those are the tactics I've employed. I've got quite a few kills. I'm really enjoying it now more than ever, because less trollage involved, as I said, but it is a lot riskier, especially if it's the first few times you're doing RoTS after the update. But good luck to you guys. Let me know what you think of this mini guide slash informative video, and yeah, let me know if you have anything to add or for me to change from this video. I've said something wrong or whatever, and I will make sure to annotate it or take it on board when I do RoTS. So yeah guys, thanks a lot for watching.